What's going on, Not Move Nation? Welcome to the Not Move podcast. Today is February 10th at 6:43 a.m. Eastern Time. We have a quick NBA slate to break down today. We have 4 games on. Thank you to the supporters, subscribers, and followers. We appreciate you guys. Also, thank you to the sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right. Not too many injuries to update you guys with today. Mitchell Robinson for the New York Knicks is out due to ankle management. Grayson Allen for the Phoenix Suns is out due to a knee problem. Klay Thompson for the Dallas Mavericks is questionable. He might rest today is what they're saying here on rotowire.com, ROTO wire.com. OG Anunoby, New York Knicks, questionable with a toe issue. Zubac for Indiana, questionable with an ankle issue. Neesmith for Indiana, questionable with a hand issue. And TJ McConnell for Indiana, questionable with a hamstring issue. I know Doncic was out yesterday for the Lakers, so let's see if he suits up today. But other than that, that looks like about it. Obviously, some more injuries could come out later on in the day, so I would keep up to date with that. The first game we'll break down here is the Indiana Pacers and New York Knicks. Indiana's on a 4-game losing streak. Knicks are on a 1-game win streak. Neither of these teams played yesterday. The Knicks have won 2 regular season games in a row against Indiana. These teams have played 1 game against each other this season, and New York won by a final score of 114 to 113. That game was played in Indiana on December 18th. So the game today here is in New York. And then Indiana has a 0-4 money line record on Tuesdays this season, and the Knicks have a 5-3 money line record on Tuesdays. The last time that the New York Knicks played on February 10th was the 2023-2024 NBA season, and they played Indiana in that game. Indiana ended up winning that 125 to 111, and that game was in New York. The most points that Siakam for Indiana has ever scored in a game was on December 21st, 2022 against the New York Knicks at New York, like it is here today. He scored 52 points in that game. So if you do like Siakam going over his point total today, you do have that historical aspect in your favor. Also, Siakam has a 14-7 career record against Karl Anthony Towns. Against the spread trends, I looked at 3 different trends in this game, and New York has the advantage in all 3 against the spread trends. The Knicks have the 7th best against the spread record in the NBA. They're 30-24 against the spread. Indiana's 26-27. And then the Knicks have the 3rd best record in the NBA against the spread as a home favorite. They rank 3rd best. Indiana has the 4th worst against the spread record as a road underdog. Just by the way, the Knicks, when I checked about an hour ago, they were favored by 12.5 points, over under 223.5. I checked last night on this line too, and the Knicks about 7 p.m. Eastern time, and the Knicks were minus 11.5, over under 223.5. So the total has stayed the same, but the Knicks have moved from minus 11.5 to minus 12.5 during that time. Anyways, the Knicks also have the 2nd best against the spread record after a win, and the Pacers have the 6th worst against the spread record after a loss. So I'd give the Knicks advantage on that against the spread trend as well. Team defensive efficiency basically just judges how good or bad a defense is. The lower the number is, the better your defense is. And the Knicks rank 11th in team defensive efficiency. The Indiana Pacers rank 21st in that category. Let's talk about the weaknesses for Indiana here. They allow the second most points in the paint per game to opposing teams. So guys that could take advantage of that are Brunson, who is the leader for the Knicks in points in the paint per game. And then he ranks 47th best in the NBA in points in the paint per game. And then it's Karl Anthony Towns, who ranks 49th best in the NBA in points in the paint per game. They do pretty good at defending against fast break points per game. They rank ninth in that category. Indiana also allows the fewest 3-point field goals made per game to opposing teams out of any team in the league. So that's really a strength of theirs, that 3-point defense. They do good at limiting assists. They rank eighth best in that category. By the way, these rankings come from teamrankings.com. And then I'm getting those leader statistics from NBA.com and then free throw attempts leaders from ESPN.com. Okay. And then Indiana allows the most rebounds per game to opposing teams. So if you like Karl Anthony Towns on the rebounds today, he does rank first on the team and second best in the entire NBA in rebounds per game. And then Mitchell Robinson ranks 14th best, but I think I mentioned that he's out today, right? Yeah, he's out today. Then it's Josh Hart, who ranks 29th best in the NBA in rebounds per game. Indiana, since they allow a good amount of free throw attempts per game to opposing teams, they allow the second most free throw attempts per game to opposing teams. So Karl Anthony Towns is the leader for the Knicks in free throw attempts per game. And then it's Jalen Brunson, who ranks 24th in that category. I don't really have too much to say about the Knicks defense. They're solid, They rank fourth best in points in the paint allowed per game, so above average. 10th, they rank 10th in fast break points allowed per game. The Knicks, biggest vulnerability is the 3-point field goals allowed per game. The Pacers do not have anybody in the top 50 of the NBA in 3-point field goals made per game. But if you guys like anybody for Indiana today, going over like 3-pointers made or even point totals, and they're decent at shooting 3-pointers, I think you have that, in your favor. Obviously, there's some more information that you could look at. But yeah, the Knicks do rank 22nd in 3-point field goals allowed per game. The Knicks do a good job at limiting assists per game. They rank fourth in that category, and they rank fifth in rebounds allowed per game. Free throw attempts per game, they are a little bit below average at limiting their opponent free throw attempts per game. They rank 16th in that category. So, Siakam is the free throw attempts leader per game for Indiana. He ranks 22nd best in the NBA. And then it's Nembhard, who ranks 38th in that category. And then, I noticed that Siakam, Brunson, and Josh Hart have never, neither one of those three have had a triple double in the last 25 games that they've played against this opponent. So, just wanted to let you guys know that. And then we got the Clippers at Houston Rockets. The Clippers are on a 2-game win streak. Rockets 1-game win streak. Neither of these teams played yesterday. The Clippers have won one regular season game in a row against Houston. These teams have played against each other twice this season. The first meeting was on December 11th, and Houston won that game 115-113. That game was in Houston, like it is here today. But the most recent game was on December 23rd, and the Clippers won that game 128-108. That game was in Los Angeles. The Clippers have a 3-4 money line record on Tuesdays this season. Houston has a 2-2 money line record on Tuesdays this season. And then just for your information here, on this day, on February 10th, 1980, Rick Barry for the Houston Rockets was the first player in NBA history to score 8 3-pointers in a game. And Houston has lost 4 times in a row that they've played on February 10th against any team that they've played against. Then I noticed Kevin Durant for Houston has a 23-18 career record against Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers. Also, Kevin Durant has a 13-2 career record against John Collins, who also plays for the Clippers there. When I looked last night, Houston was favored by 7.5. This was about 7 p.m. Eastern time. Houston was favored by 7.5, over under 210.5. When I checked at about 6 a.m. Eastern time this morning, Houston was still minus 7.5, but that over under dropped from 210.5 to 209.5. I looked at 3 different against the spread trends in this game. The Clippers have the advantage in all of those trends. The Clippers are 25-27 against the spread. Houston's 23-28 against the spread, which ranks ninth worst in the NBA. So I'd give the Clippers the advantage there. And then the Clippers are 10-8 against the spread as a road underdog. Houston has the 4th worst against the spread record as a home favorite. They're 8-14 against the spread as a home favorite. So I give the Clippers the advantage on that trend as well. And then the Clippers are 13-11 against the spread after a win, which ranks 7th best in the NBA. Houston's 12-9 against the spread after a win, which ranks 5th worst in the NBA. So I give the Clippers the advantage on that as well. Team defensive efficiency. Let me get a drink real quick. All right. Team defensive efficiency. Houston's really good. They rank 4th best in that category. The Clippers rank 20th. So let's talk about Houston's defense real quick. I don't have anybody listed for the Clippers today because Houston is above average in all of the categories that I talk about. They rank 11th in points in the paint allowed per game and fast break points allowed per game. They rank 6th best in 3-point field goals allowed per game, 2nd best in assists allowed per game, 3rd best in rebounds allowed per game. So they're just a very efficient defense. They don't allow their opponents to go to the free throw line very often. They rank 6th best in that category. But the Clippers, they do a good job at limiting points in the paint per game. They rank 10th in that category. But their 2 biggest flaws are going to be fast break points allowed per game and 3-point field goals allowed per game. The Clippers rank 21st in fast break points allowed per game. So I think Amen Thompson could take advantage of that today, possibly. He is the leader for Houston in fast break points per game and ranks 39th best in the NBA in that category. And then the Clippers rank 18th in 3-point field goals allowed per game to opposing teams, which is slightly below average. So I think, on paper, Reed Shepherd, who ranks 42nd best in the NBA and 1st for the Houston Rockets in 3-point field goals made per game, could take advantage of that. Kevin Durant is next man up. He ranks 44th best in the NBA in 3-point field goals made per game. And then Jabari Smith Jr., who ranks 46th in that category. I'll just go ahead and mention that the Clippers rank 10th in assists allowed per game to opposing teams, 4th best in rebounds allowed per game to opposing teams. So overall, just really good defense there. Oh no, not for Houston, good defense there, but still good job for the Clippers right there, limiting those assists per game and rebounds per game. Anyways, Şengün, the projected starting center for Houston today, has had a triple-double in 2 out of 14 career games against the Clippers. Amen Thompson has had a triple-double in 1 out of 7 career games against the Clippers. And then Kawhi Leonard has not had a triple-double in his last 25 games against Houston. Third game, we have Dallas Mavericks at Phoenix Suns. Dallas is on a 7-game losing streak. Phoenix, 2-game losing streak. Today is Max Christie's birthday, which is the projected starting shooting guard for the Dallas Mavericks. Neither of these teams played yesterday, and Phoenix has won 2 games in a row, 2 regular season games in a row against the Mavericks. They've also won the last 4 out of 5 regular season games against the Mavericks. These teams played against each other one time this season, which was on November 12th. That game was at Dallas. The one today is at Phoenix. But Phoenix won that game at Dallas by a final score of 123 to 114. And then Dallas has a 2-1 money line record on Tuesdays this season, and Phoenix has a 5-2 money line record on Tuesdays this season. Devin Booker, the projected starting shooting guard for the Phoenix Suns, has a 7-2 career record against PJ Washington, who's the projected power forward there for Dallas. And then Devin Booker also has an 8-1 career record against the projected starting center for the Dallas Mavericks today, Daniel Gafford. Then I noticed Dylan Brooks, the projected starting small forward for the Phoenix Suns, has an 11-3 career record against PJ Washington, who's projected to be that starting power forward today for Dallas. When I checked last night at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, the Suns were favored by 7.5 points, over under 226.5. When I checked earlier this morning, Phoenix was still minus 7.5, over under 227.5. So that total went up a point since then. I looked at 3 different against the spread trends here. Phoenix has all of those advantages. Phoenix is the best team against the spread this season, and Dallas has the 7th worst record against the spread this season. So Phoenix has the advantage there. Phoenix also has the 7th best against the spread record as a home favorite this season, and Dallas has the 5th worst record against the spread as a road underdog. I may have just misspoke. 5th worst. Dallas has the 5th worst against the spread record as a road underdog. So Phoenix advantage there. And then, Phoenix, after a loss, they lost their last 2 games. But after a loss, they have the 5th best record against the spread in the NBA, 14-7. And then Dallas is 15-7 against the spread after a loss. Team defensive efficiency. Both of these teams are above average in team defensive efficiency. Phoenix ranks 8th in that category. Dallas ranks 12th. So let's talk about Phoenix's defense real quick. They do a good job at limiting all those categories that I normally talk about as well. They rank 9th best in points in the paint allowed per game, 5th in fast break points allowed per game, 4th in three-point field goals allowed per game, 5th in assists allowed per game. Their biggest vulnerability really are 2 different things here. I'd say the biggest vulnerability in regards to where they rank compared to other teams is going to be opponent free throws allowed per game. They rank 20th in that category, so slightly below average. Cooper Flagg is the leader for the Mavericks in free throw attempts per game, 34th best in the NBA. Brandon Williams ranks 43rd, and then Marshall ranks 48th in free throw attempts per game in the entire NBA. And then Dallas allows the 3rd most rebounds we're talking about Phoenix, right? Phoenix, they rank 14th in rebounds allowed per game. So just about average at limiting rebounds to opposing teams per game. PJ Washington is the leader for the Mavericks in rebounds per game. He ranks 35th best in the NBA in that category. And then Cooper Flagg ranks 47th best in the NBA in rebounds per game. And then, on the Dallas side, Dallas allows the most points in the paint per game to opposing teams this season. Mark Williams leads this team, for the Phoenix Suns, in points in the paint per game. He ranks 47th best in the NBA in that category. And then Dallas is slightly below average at limiting fast break points to opposing teams. They rank 18th in that category. Devin Booker is the leader for the Phoenix Suns in fast break points per game and ranks 25th best in the NBA in that category. Dallas is slightly below average at allowing assists per games to opposing teams as well. They rank 18th in that category. Booker's the leader for Phoenix in assists per game. He ranks 18th in that category, followed up by Gillespie, who ranks 45th. Also, I just wanted to, let you guys know that Dallas is a good 3-point defending team as well. They rank 3rd best in the NBA in 3-point field goals allowed per game. So if you like any 3-point shooters for Phoenix today, I'm not saying that they cannot do it, right? Just kind of depends on how Dallas defends against their specific position and other factors. But, just generally speaking, they could have a tougher time today with that Mavericks 3-point defense. And then rebounds allowed per game. Dallas allows the third most rebounds per game to opposing teams. So Mark Williams is the leader for the Phoenix Suns and ranks 24th best in the NBA in rebounds per game. And then, I did notice Dallas has done a pretty decent job at limiting those free throw attempts per game to opposing teams. They rank 10th in that category. And then Cooper Flag, he's played one career game against Phoenix, did not have a triple-double in that game. And Devin Booker has not had a triple-double in his last 25 games against Dallas. All right, and then the last game we have is the Spurs at Lakers. The Spurs are on a 4-game win streak. Lakers on a 1-game losing streak. The Spurs didn't play yesterday, but the Lakers did. So I just want to go look at the teamrankings.com real quick. All right, and I want to look at rest advantage versus rest disadvantage trend real quick. I forgot to do that. So the Spurs have rest advantage, right? They're 6-12 against the spread with rest advantage. And then the Lakers with rest disadvantage have the third best record in the NBA. They're 7-2 with rest advantage. All right. The Spurs have won 2 regular season games in a row against the Lakers. And these teams have played against each other 3 times this season. The Spurs have won 2 out of 3 of those games. The first game was on November 5th, which was played in Los Angeles like it is here today. And the Lakers won that game by 2 points by a final score of 118-116. And then the second game was on December 10th, which was in Los Angeles as well. The Spurs won that game 132-119. But the most recent game was on January 7th. And that game was in San Antonio. The Spurs won that 107-91. The Spurs have a 3-4 money line record on Tuesdays this season, and the Lakers have a 6-3 money line record on Tuesdays this season. The Lakers have won the last 3 times that they've played on today's date, February 10th, against any team that they've played on that date. And then I noticed that Wembanyama has a 4-1 career record against Ayton, which isn't a huge sample size. But yeah, Wembanyama for the Spurs does have a 4-1 career record against Ayton, the projected starting center there for the Lakers today. When I checked this line last night at about 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, saw that the Spurs were favored by 7.5, over under 227.5. When I checked this morning at about 5:50 a.m. Eastern time, the Spurs moved up a point. They went from 7.5 last night to minus 8.5 this morning, and then that total, that point total, went up from 227.5 to 229.5. And then when I'm looking at these 4 different against the spread trends, I see that the Lakers have advantages in 3 out of 4 of the trends that I usually look at. The Lakers are better against the spread this season than the Spurs. And then the Spurs do have an advantage against the spread as a road favorite than the Lakers do as a home underdog. The Spurs are 5-7-1 against the spread as a road favorite. Lakers 2-5 against the spread as a home underdog. But, the Lakers have the best record against the spread after a loss in the NBA. They're 14-5 against the spread after a loss. Spurs after a win, 17-16-2 against the spread after a win. So I give the Lakers the advantage there. And then we already talked about the rest advantage versus rest disadvantage. Lakers win that trend. Team defensive efficiency, the Spurs are really good. They rank 3rd best in that category. So let's talk about the Lakers defense real quick. They do rank 22nd in team defensive efficiency, so they're below average. in that regard. They rank 19th in points in the paint allowed per game, so slightly below average. Wembanyama's the leader for the Spurs in points in the paint per game and ranks 36th best in the NBA in that category. The Lakers are average at defending against fast break points per game. They rank 15th in that category. So, Stephon Castle for the Spurs is the leader in fast break points per game, ranks 32nd best in the NBA in that category. And then it's Vassell, who ranks 47th best in the NBA in fast break points per game. Then the Lakers are also slightly below average at limiting opponent 3-point field goals made per game. They rank 19th in that category. So Julian Champagnie ranks 35th best in the NBA and first on the San Antonio Spurs in 3-point field goals made per game. Vassell right behind. He ranks 38th best in the NBA and 3-point field goals made per game. The Lakers are also bad at limiting assists to opposing teams. They rank 24th in that category. So Castle is the leader for the Spurs in assists per game. He ranks 11th best in the NBA. And then De'Aaron Fox is the next man up for the Spurs in that category. He ranks 19th best in the NBA in assists per game. The Lakers do a good job at limiting rebounds to opposing teams. They rank second best in that category out of any team in the league. And they do a good job at limiting those opponent free throw attempts per game. They rank third best in that category. But, I don't have too many flaws to talk about here for the Spurs defensively. They're good at limiting points in the paint per game. They rank seventh best in that category. Fast break points allowed per game, they rank second best. Assists allowed per game, they rank 12th, so not exceptional, but slightly above average as a team in limiting those assists per game to opposing teams. And then they rank ninth in rebounds allowed per game. I would say their biggest vulnerability is going to be the 3-point field goals allowed per game. Doncic is the leader for the Lakers and the only one that ranks within the top 50 for the Lakers in 3-point field goals made per game. He also ranks fourth best in the NBA in that category. But we know, some other guys for this Lakers team can put up some threes, Reeves. Reeves may just not be on the official statistics. I think he's missed some games this season. So sometimes, those big time players miss some games. And from my understanding, they're not eligible for official statistics. So, if I'm talking about like the Nuggets and I don't mention that Jokic is a rebound per game leader, that's going to be the reason why, But yeah, LeBron has had a triple double in 4 of his last 25 games against the Spurs. I don't think he's had one this year, so we'll see if he can get one tonight. And then Stephon Castle has never had a triple double in 7 career games against the Lakers. So, but that about does it. We have a loaded slate tomorrow morning, so I'll have to get busy on that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in today, guys. Good luck on your picks today, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. Also, thank you to our sponsors: BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right, guys, take care. Good luck, and I'll see you guys soon.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.